13 straight nights of U.S. strikes hit Iranian military targets inside Iran, and Trump didn't blink. The IRGC keeps getting hammered, and the media clowns still want you to fear Trump's tone more than Tehran's missiles. And wait until you hear the Obama comparison CNN just tried to smother. Quote, he was cut in half by an Iranian EFP. That's what Senator Tim Sheehy said on the Senate floor. That line stopped me cold because this isn't a cable news parlor game. Iran butchered Americans for years while Barack Obama fed the fantasy that this regime could be managed. Now Trump is hitting them for a 13th consecutive night, keeping the Strait of Hormuz open and telling Tehran flat out it cannot have a nuclear weapon. Now you and I know that what is at stake here? Deterrence, or more flag-draped coffins. And Ro Khanna still went on CNN to sell Obama's record, and it's disgusting. And when Trump spends 13 straight nights crushing an enemy, I think about keeping my own edge too. And after trying hundreds of supplements, nothing hit like C60 Evo. Now this formula contains a Nobel Prize winning molecule, not just another antioxidant. In the Paris-studied lab animals live 90% longer, the longest life extension in history, and it's worth more than gold per ounce, and it helps you feel young again. Mine? Well, my brain fog's gone, joint pain virtually eliminated, more energy, clearer thinking, better skin. My wife, her skin looks 10 years younger. My energy feels 20 years younger. And now it works at the cellular level where aging actually happens, and it's also 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. It's made in the Houston lab that's been doing this since 1991. So grab your exclusive savings at c60evo.com/NNN. Use code NNN at checkout because strength matters. Now, Z told Trump in Beijing that he would not give or sell weapons to Iran. And Trump just boxed Tehran in while the IRGC fires missiles and loses ground. And even China and Russia got the message. Now let's get to the post because Trump's own words hit like a sledgehammer. We have this. U.S. targets Iran for the 13th straight night as the conflict with the regime shows no sign of slowing down. That's the Fox News headline right there. The Trump administration is signaling even more large-scale strikes could be on the table while President Trump doubles down that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Good morning. Those attacks by U.S. forces over military targets in Iran began at about 2 a.m. local time. The strikes lasted for more than 2 hours. This was the 13th night in a row that the U.S. targeted military targets inside of Iran. It comes as President Trump is warning of something possibly much bigger on the horizon, telling Axios there could be a massive attack on Iran, that the president is close to a decision, but a decision has not been made yet. One thing the president has been firm on over and over again, the fact that he says Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Here's President Trump.
Doing very well against the Islamic Republic of Iran. We're doing extremely well. They would like to do something, but I say they're not ready yet. They got some evil intentions. We cannot let them have a nuclear weapon. If we did all this that I'm talking about your data centers, isn't that important? When they start blowing away communities one by one, we cannot let them ever even think about having a nuclear weapon, and that's exactly what's happening. They'll never have a nuclear weapon.
President Trump has also said he intends to hold Iran responsible for attacks by Houthi terrorists on Saudi shipping inside the Red Sea. Attacks by the Houthis on 2 Saudi tankers with missiles and drones set one tanker alight and really helped to spike oil prices briefly above $100 a barrel. The president is vowing major military punishment if the Houthi attacks continue.
So it's Fox laying out night 13 of Trump's strikes and the warning that bigger action could still be coming. Now the actual CENTCOM footage showing the hits on Iranian military infrastructure tied to the threats in the Strait of Hormuz. Newly unclassified video shows CENTCOM forces carrying out a new round of strikes against the Iranian regime, targeting military infrastructure tied to threats against the Strait of Hormuz. So here is new video from CENTCOM, newly released. Damn! Look at those. Look at the destruction. Night after night, these videos are dropping directly from CENTCOM. Look at this. Wow. Another direct hit. Look at a little close-up there. It's amazing what we're seeing here. I've always asked the question, you know, we're now doing this 13 nights in. Why are these boats and missile launchers still even there? They should have been wiped out, you know, on day one. So President Trump must be showing some level of mercy, but that mercy is about to run out. So you saw the strike video. Now the official confirmation. CENTCOM says 13 nights in a row. Started another night of strikes around 6:45 p.m. Eastern. 13 consecutive nights of strikes aimed to hold Iran accountable and diminish threats from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps to commercial shipping. So the message is steady, it's direct, and next Trump's team is showing that he's going after Tehran's wallet, demanding Iranian money to cover the damage done to ships and cargo. This from the President's Truth Social. Please let this statement serve to represent until further notice that from this point forth, any and all damages done to ships, cargo, or anything related thereto will be paid for by Iranian money that the United States has in its possession and controls. These damages may be very substantial, but nevertheless, this is the fair and equitable thing to do. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So he's not just firing missiles, he's talking restitution, putting Iran on the hook financially. Next up, new flight tracking points to a major U.S. airlift surge from Europe to the Middle East. Mario Nafal pointing out the largest movement of U.S. C-17 and C-5M cargo aircraft from Europe to the Middle East in 24 hours since March. These are the U.S. Air Force primary strategic airlift planes used to move troops, heavy equipment, ammo, vehicles, and supplies. The spikes this size may be signaling something big is happening, most likely in response to the escalation with Iran and heightened threat to U.S. bases in the region. So you can see here, look at this massive supply chain, supply route, all U.S. military, back and forth. Major rearming is happening right now. So if the cargo buildup is real, this fight may be entering a heavier phase. While the U.S. assets move in, new footage claims the IRGC is launching missiles towards Kuwait, Jordan, and Bahrain. This is from the Iranian state media. Claims the 27th wave of Operation Nasr use Fateh 10, Zukhwifer, and Pavlov missiles. Here we go. So let's take a look here. Picture of the Ayatollah. Others, these appear to be images that are posted on the missiles as some effort to brand the missiles as, you know, retribution. Oh, scary. Super scary stuff there. Their model planes and their bottle rockets continue to flood social media in an attempt to scare President Trump. And as we pointed out before, a lot of these videos have blurred out background, so you can't see the terrain, which would then give away the location. But of course, we have Space Force that can track any of these launches at any time. So, and we don't even know if this all could be old footage that they're just repurposing, right? Maybe these missile sites are already destroyed, but they're just gonna, oh, hey guys, go grab the footage from 3 years ago when we were doing those tests, right? Notice how there's a difference. We show our missiles landing, they show their missiles taking off. That's the big difference here. So they can keep trying all day long, but that's why Trump's red line matters. Next, the president says Xi and Putin both told him they will not arm Tehran. This is from Trump Daily Post. Quote from President Trump's Truth Social. President Xi, at our recent meeting in Beijing, China, told me he would not, under any circumstances, give or sell weapons to the Islamic Republic of Iran. And that statement included Chinese companies. Considering our relationship, I take him at his word, and besides, I am doing a very big favor for him. Also, President Putin, despite the horrible war going on in Ukraine, the relationship remains as it does with President Zelensky, told me that he would not sell weapons to Iran. He understands that I do not sell weapons to Ukraine, but to NATO countries. They pay the full price, and how those weapons are distributed, I have no idea. Therefore, two major countries that people speak of often in terms of Iran are, in my opinion, not participating. If they did, it would be very bad for them, certainly not in their best interest. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So, after those reported missile launches, Trump is now trying to box Iran in diplomatically. Next, Senator Tim Sheehy delivers a floor speech that cuts through the media spin and reminds people what this regime has done to America for decades. Let's check in with the Senate floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yesterday we saw the President of the United States and many others at Dover Air Force Base presiding over a ceremony that is very sacred to those of us who served, and that is a dignified return of remains from the war zone. And that process happens beginning in the war zone through Dover to the hometown of our fallen heroes. I participated in many of those ceremonies myself, to include carrying friends of mine off the plane. One of those is on this bracelet. He was cut in half by an Iranian EFP. This regime that we are fighting does not care about our partisan politics. They don't care who you voted for, who you pray to, or where you live. They want to kill all of us. And they don't just say it, they actually do it. And they've been doing it for 47 years. This is a war of choice. The Democrats are correct. It's a war of choice that was begun by a radical, lunatic band of terrorists that took over a beautiful nation 47 years ago. Took it over with brutality, force, and savagery. And the second they took it over, they didn't free their people. They didn't unleash the largest oil reserves in the world to build schools and bridges. They took it over to murder their own people and to spread their disgusting ideology across the world, and that is exactly what they have been doing. They don't just say it and talk about it. You don't have to believe what they say. You can simply watch what they've done. They have attacked families, women, children, innocent people. They don't just attack them and kill them. They rape them. They skin them alive on camera. They celebrate it. They honor those people who do disgusting things that we would put in jail for the rest of their lives in this country. And they do it for fun, and they pay them money to do it, and they're heroes to that nation. They've done it to friends of mine. They've done it to families who've been in this chamber. And the fact that we sit here and listen to elected officials of this country defend these lunatics who want us all dead. They want all of you dead. They want all of us dead. They don't want us to disappear with the snap of a finger. They want us to be raped, burned alive, and cut into pieces. Watch the video from October 7th. That's what they want to happen from Maine to San Diego, from Seattle to Miami. They want this country turned into a burning husk of its former self. And you don't have to theorize that. That's what they do. From the 1983 barracks bombing, where 280 Marines were vaporized in a morning, from USS Cole to the Achille Laurel to every terrorist attack, from the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas. These are not humanitarian freedom organizations. They are death-dealing cults, and they want all of us to die brutal deaths. William Buckley was abducted in 1985, an American military officer. He was skinned alive on camera by the Iranians. American prisoners of war who were captured. They were never called prisoners of war because they were captured by lunatic terrorists, so they were not subject to the Geneva Convention. They were captured and murdered, power drills through their brains. This is in Iraq. These are families that have dealt with this, and they've never gotten a single dime. These families have never gotten restitution, and not a single president has ever stood up to them. Love Donald Trump or hate him, love his policies, hate ICE, love ICE, whatever. There's never been a single president who has stood up to Iran and hit back. For 47 years, our troops and our families have been absorbing attack after attack after attack all over the world. And their radical ideology does not stop at the Persian Gulf. It doesn't stop at Tel Aviv. They want to do this everywhere. It's a global radical ideology. And we've been fighting it for half a century. We didn't start this war. We did not, but we will finish it.
So he puts it bluntly, Iran's terror war didn't start yesterday. Our troops have paid the price for years. Next, we hear from the mother of a fallen American soldier. A sobering reminder of the families who are carrying the costs. Mother of U.S. soldier Angel Rampersad.
Thank you all for coming, and my daughter was a good soldier. She fought for this country and she died for this country, and I am a mother that is highly proud of her. And I know she was really, really focused on what she was doing. She loved it. No comments. Thank you for coming.
After the mother's heartbreaking words, the Obama-era whitewashing gets harder to defend. Peter Meyer smacks down Ro Khanna on CNN for praising Obama's Iran record with one fact the media never wanted to admit.
What's gnawing at Trump is that Barack Obama was far more effective, that Barack Obama actually got China and the EU and got a multilateral agreement that got 97% of enriched uranium out. And it turns out being statesmanlike and being smart and strategic is better than bluster for America's national interest. And now the president has made a mess of things, made a mess of the economy, but his ego will not permit him to go to Xi Jinping and the European leaders and have a multilateral solution to get us out of this mess and to help the American
Before you jump in, I mean, the Iranians killed an order of magnitude more Americans under President Obama than they have under President
That's just
Trump.
not true. That's
And
not
that is
factually
absolutely true. I was in
That is not
Iraq
fa-
getting the EFPs that the Iranians were supplying to the Jaish al-Mahdi, Assad al-Haq,
We've lost
all of the
service.
Iranian-backed militias.
Obama didn't go to...
Wow. Iranians killed an order of magnitude more Americans under President Obama than they have under President Trump. Peter Meyer snapping at Ro Khanna on CNN. And that single sentence blows up the entire surrender racket that Obama built around the Iranian regime. Because while Obama chased signatures and photo ops, Iranian-backed killers shredded American troops. And now Trump is making the terror state pay in steel, fire, and consequences. So Trump's order that any and all damages done to ships' cargo get paid from Iranian money needs to stay in force until the IRGC is broke, busted, and terrified to touch another vessel. And that's the level of command that we were denied for years. 13 nights of strikes, Tehran still failing to close Hormuz, and Trump telling the world that Iran will never get a nuclear weapon. That is how you restore deterrence. So I want your take in the comments. Do we finish the job now, or let the Obama crowd crawl back in with another pact wrapped in diplomatic slogans? And share this with one person still parroting Ro Khanna's garbage about bluster, because Peter Meyer and Tim Sheehy just torched that lie with facts and blood. And those 13 straight nights of strikes are exactly why gatekeepers throttle stories like this. So text White House to 844-840-4963 right now. Next News Network is credentialed inside the White House, and our nightly insider dispatches come straight from the building to your phone, ahead of the crowd, and past whatever YouTube tries to bury.